How's the Josh? Hey, आवाज ही नहीं आया. How's the Josh? Not good enough. How's the Josh? Little better. How's the Josh? Better. That's the thing. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a matter of honor and privilege to be here amongst young crowd. At the very onset, I would like to place my regards for Chairman Mr. Srinivas God, Director Mr. Pranav God, Director Mrs. Rekha, both the principals who are the backbone of this institution. My profound compliments for the way things have been done. It looks exclusively very hard work put behind it. As I see young children here sitting across, I get a tinge of jealousy. As I see a lot of opportunities, a lot of challenge before you, and when I am here, I look a lot of opportunities and challenge gone by. We both are on the other end of the spectrum. And as I stand on the extreme end of the spectrum, all it leaves for me is to share some wisdom from my past, what I've gone through. I'll share a few instances with you which may come handy to the young children and the parents here also who are here in the life to come along. I'm reminded after seeing the children of my school days. When I was in the school, finishing my 12th and coming to college, that's the time, one day I get a call from my friends, ki, hey, we are filling up a form, come over. You also fill the form for Combined Defense Services Army exam. I said, listen, I'm not interested. Because that time I never knew where to go. I was enjoying my life every day, the way it came. But I went ahead, filled the form for the very reason that we had to go to Delhi to write this exam. And to write the exam, there was one movie running, Tarzan the Ape Man. And I would get to see that movie. So that was my motivation to fill up the form. And we all went to Delhi to write the exam for Combined Defense Services exam. As luck would be, at the end of the results when they came out, I was the only one selected. All my friends flunked. And my parents asked, what do you want to do? I said, listen, I'm getting a call for an interview, which is 5 days long. Let me go. Government is paying for it. So let me go and enjoy it and come back. I landed at Allahabad for my interview. And there were 150 guys who came for the interview call. Over 5 days, a grueling exercise, what we went through. At the end of it, I was the only one selected. And I came back. And as I was sitting in the train to go and join the academy, to join this army, that's the time I reflected back on me. What is it that made me come through this? And that's the first lesson of my life which dawned upon me. That you meet your fate on the road which you traverse to avoid it. And your actions are nothing but seeds which grow into fate. I was not interested in army, and as I went along, I happened to confront an organization or an exam which gave me this opportunity. This opportunity only came about because I worked for it. I didn't work to clear that. I worked to make sure that I do not cut a sorry figure in front of others, and so I worked upon. So those were my deeds which resulted into the fate. So that was my first lesson, that there is something known as fate, but the fate will unroll provided you work for it. I joined the army, and I was posted in Gulmarg, Srinagar, close to that. That's the time the Siachen Glacier has come about. The Pakis had come and occupied the glacier, and the Chinese were in collaboration with them, and that was a very critical situation for the country. The nation took the decision to send the army and evict Pakistanis from Siachen Glacier and occupy Siachen Glacier. And Siachen Glacier is the highest battlefield in the world in the history of mankind. No one has fought battle at 20,000 feet and above. where temperatures go down to minus 55 to 60 degrees Celsius. We were the fortunate ones who were chosen to be inducted first. And we were to be given training. So we went down to Gulmarg, and that's the first time I ever saw skis in my life. I still remember it was 2nd of December, 1984. That first time I saw skis, and our instructor started training us on skis because we had to be proficient on that equipment because we could operate behind enemy lines when required. And we started training for it. The instructor was real tough man who made us go through it morning till evening. And night also he would make us go and ski on slopes when there was moonlit night. One day, he called us all and he says, you, and he got 6 guys from the group and says, you guys are participated in national skiing 30-kilometer cross country. We said, what? We just picked up skis. We don't even know how to stand on skis. Anyway, he says, don't you worry. You just bother for today. Whatever I tell you, just do that and don't think of future or past. We did exactly the same. The day came when we were standing on the start line, the way I saw the relay team standing here, I was reminded back of my days. And the bullet was fired and we all skied down the slopes. It was mesmerizing, beautiful. All what was there on my mind was to strain every bit of my muscle to enjoy that particular break. I wasn't thinking what will happen in future or what is happening behind me. I was only concerned about putting the best during that time. As I was skiing down, as we came close to the race, getting close, that time I saw a lot of people lined up along the road and they were screaming and searching for me. And that time I wondered, I said, I was behind and the race would have finished, but all of a sudden from scream coming from the crowds, they told me that, hey, buck up. The guy who's coming third is literally 200 meters ahead of you. Try and cross him. That was great motivation for me. I strained every bit of my muscle and I pushed through myself. As I came close to him, we were literally waggling up and down till the time I saw a ledge over on the top. I climbed up the ledge and took a jump from there and went ahead of him, and that's how I finished third on the national skiing. I was standing at the podium at national skiing 30-kilometer cross country as a winner. In the evening when we had this little get together, I wondered what really made it happen. And that's a second lesson of my life which dawned on me. And the lesson was that do not think of future or past. Always work and remain in present. If you think of future, you will be in anxiety. If you think of past, you'll always remain with fear. If we were to think of past, we would have thought, I just picked up skis, how can I compete with the guys who have been doing it for past 20, 30 years? And if I were to think of the winning part, I would have been in anxiety and I would actually not been able to put up. The reason of victory was that I learned the art of living in the present and working for it. The third lesson which I learned, which I'd like to share with you, is again in 1985. Same Siachen Glacier we were being trained and we were posted to Sonmarg. Sonmarg is a place which is a beautiful valley. In summers it's lush green. It's as beautiful or rather a little more beautiful than Switzerland. But in winters becomes menacing. It's got a long gorge which is 11 kilometers long and that gets covered with snow and gets cut off. And it's got steep mountains going right up to 12,000 feet. We were there training in the winters. We went and plowed ourselves. I had a team of around 80 guys with me. I was a leader there. And one evening, the nursing assistant came to me and said, sir, it is snowing outside and we have one soldier who's not well. He's getting terrible stomachache. The doctor had gone on leave, so nursing assistant really couldn't handle it. Anyway, we tried something to give him some medicine, but it didn't work. It was snowing heavy, line communications are out, nothing would come, choppers wouldn't come into it to evacuate this gentleman. So I took a decision. I said, okay, let us evacuate him on foot and take him along. And when it snows, the soft snow is so soft that you really can't walk. To walk 100 meters, it takes you good about 15 to 20 minutes. It's that soft and so difficult it is. But we embarked upon evacuating this gentleman. We put him on the sledge and carried him on our shoulders along with us. So 10 guys of us. So we left at around 1:32 at night because that was the only time when you could move through the gorge because of the snow falling. The snow would slide and it would result in an avalanche coming there. We started walking through this particular gorge and my eyes were stuck on the top of the mountains to see if any avalanche was getting triggered. We kept moving till around 4:30 in the morning when there was little twilight on the top. I could see certain swirls of snow coming across. And as these snow swirls are getting bigger and bigger, I knew that it is getting terminated into an avalanche. And we came right within the fall of that avalanche. As we saw this avalanche was coming onto us and we had no space to get out of it, we made sure that we pushed this soldier who was on the sledge, put him down and pushed him down so that he gets out of the range of the avalanche. Rest of us all came within the beat of the avalanche. We took the training, we put our hands around the neck or around our nose so that there's a little cavity. When you get buried, at least you have some place to breathe. And so the rescue team, when they come, you have some 2-3 hours for you to survive buried inside. We did that training. And as the snow went across, I realized that there was something which was above my head. And I shrugged my head and I realized that my head was out of the snow. I was only buried up to my ears. Anyway, it was a big snow, but not much of hard ice in it. We pulled each other out from there. And as we came out, the first thing we looked around for that soldier who was not well. We went, picked him up, and went across. As we reached the other end, hot cup of tea and all was served to us. And that's the time the third lesson of my life came to me. Why is it that we were not scared of anything? We were only concerned that we evacuate that gentleman who was sick, that he should be taken to doctor at the right space. And the lesson was that when you think of everything together, that's inclusivity, the fear never comes to you. If you think of your own self, the fear is the first thing which comes on to you. If we were thinking of ourselves, the first thing when the avalanche came in, we would have dumped that soldier and ran from there to save our life. But none of us did that thing. Everyone was concerned to save that soldier rather than running away from there. So inclusivity is very essential in life as you grow. And this is something which I must share. I was talking to Mr. Srinivas God, and that's what I realized, that his opening up of schools and other things, what he's doing apart from his business, is part of that inclusivity. He is not only thinking of his family, his money, his business, he is venturing out to take the community into it. The starting of the school itself is a manifestation that is looking beyond in that direction of inclusivity. So that's my huge compliment to the management, that this is a great way to start, and you are rightly on the right, great lines to that. And ladies and gentlemen, the last lesson which I like to share is I learned when I was commanding my brigade in Tawang. I was invited to an orphanage school as a chief guest. My staff officer came, they said, some monks have come and they want to invite you. So I said, okay, send them in. They came and they invited me. They said, you please come over. We've got 250 odd orphanage children whom we look after, and it'll be very nice if you can come there. I said, yeah, sure I will be there. I went to the school. As traditional, you were received, some flowers were given, and young children, so beautiful children were there, and they gave flowers and all. I walked into the auditorium and the cultural program started. They were dancing around. Mesmerizing, a beautiful program, so lusciously placed and presented to us. I turned towards the manager, or rather the chairman of that particular thing. The chairman is now the present Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh. So he was the chairman of that, and I turned back to him and I said, I feel so sorry for these children. such a beautiful organization, but they are, at this stage that they don't have their parents with them. You know what he told me? He says, sir, never say that they are becharas. He says, we never teach them that this is what it is. We teach them that what state you are in, it is your own doing. This is your karma. You get served what you prepare. You prepare your own recipe which gets served to you. I thought that I wouldn't have got this type of message anywhere except for this location. And when I went out and met the children, I found every child was happy, gay, and they were full of enthusiasm, and mesmerizing environment was there. And that's a place where I learned that karma has no menu. You get served what you prepare. So what you do will come back to you. So the lesson which I just brought out, if you get your destiny right, if you learn to live in present, and if you have this inclusivity, your karmas are going to be right. And if your karmas are right, you will do well in life. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been absolutely an honor to be here. Thank you, management. Thank you, principal. And thank you, children. And thanks the parents who are here. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Jai Hind.